Hi, I'm Todd Wente, and this is the Daily 180, 180 seconds of motivation and inspiration intended to help you take action and make progress in your life. This is episode 516 of the Daily 180, and today we're going to continue our series talking about planners by talking about step 3. You'll remember in step 1, we talked about making some preferences. Step 2, we talked about setting a routine. Step 3, planner stage 3 process kind of goes back to something that I've struggled with, and maybe you have too, and that is I miss things. I don't know about you, but I miss things. Every now and again, I'll be sitting there and somebody will call and say, "We missed you at blah, 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 blah," whatever event was going on. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that." Sometimes it's an event that is taking place on a regular basis. Sometimes it's an event that was talked about. We discussed it. Maybe I was even part of the planning of it, but I missed it. And so as a result, I was in a place where I blew things off. I've missed weddings, not my own wedding, and not any of my children's weddings, but I've missed weddings. I've missed special events that were celebrated. I've missed birthdays. I've missed work situations where I needed to be there because because I didn't have them in my planner. So, how do you get them in your planner? How do you make sure that this happens? There's two things that I want to stress about this. The first one is Facebook is not always going to be there for you when it comes to birthdays. If there are people, I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Well, Todd, when I do birthdays, I just look for my Facebook feed." I get that. I get that. But sometimes your Facebook feed is not necessarily going to have all of those events that are going to be in there. My wife, for example, doesn't like to have any of her information in Facebook about when her birthday is. I know a lot of my other friends don't as well. And sometimes we can make an event in Facebook, but sometimes I don't get the announcements the way that I would like. And sometimes I'm away from my devices when I really need to be able to see them from a week's perspective and do some planning. So, best way that I can think of to do that and to explain how to do that, I normally don't put them in my paper based planner, at least not at first. I normally put them in my planner that's my calendar online. And what I will do often is I will, if it's a recurring event, I make sure that I put the recurring event in immediately. A lot of people will put it in and they'll say, "Oh, I'll remember to do it later." No, you won't. Put it in immediately. And when you build the event immediately, put in the repetition. If it's an annual event like a birthday or an anniversary, put it in now and have it be there, and let it remind you 3 days in advance. Especially if it's going to be a birthday or something where you're going to need to have a gift, have it remind you 3 days in advance. The way that I do that is I'll often type in Kim's birthday, uh, July 23rd, but I will set it to occur or to remind me on July 20th. So that way, and I'll actually make it an event that lasts 3 days. You know what? For some people, that's too much. But for me, I found that will help. And then at the beginning of the week, I pull open my planner, I look at the week in the calendar section, and I say, "Oh, these are things I have to remember." And I jot them down into my paper based planner because that's the one that I keep with me. I hope this has been helpful for you to think about planners. As we continue to go on, we'll start talking about specific events and then how we make everything kind of work together for the debrief to make sure that we don't miss things along the way. As always, I'd encourage you, hit the bell to subscribe, hit the button to subscribe, share this with as many people as you possibly can. And as always, this has been the Daily 180. My name is Todd Wente. Go forth and conquer. We'll see you next time.